In Movies and Money today, our film critic joins you now, Erik Childress of the Chicago Film Critics Association. Erik, I'm having a hard time going to the movies. Just not a lot out there.
Well, there's not a lot for someone like you to see. There's a lot of sequels.
Like me.
Yeah, someone like you that enjoys, I don't know, good movies.
That would
per
be
se.
it.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing that Hollywood's missing out on, because what they're sort of looking at right now are making a lot of sequels to a lot of movies that people didn't really ask for sequels for.
And maybe weren't the best movies to begin with.
Right, they weren't exactly the best first chapters. Look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie we got right now. That was sort of a surprise hit a few years ago. Made a whole bunch of money, made almost $500 million worldwide, and no one really thought that was good enough to really have a sequel. And so this weekend really reflected that. And the overall box office for the summer is incredibly down for Hollywood right now. There's only been...
It's a slump, and summer really has not even officially begun yet.
No, not. I mean, we're over a month into the summer box office, and the box office, the rate it is from last year, is down about $600 million, and that's only going to get worse this weekend when you're just looking at the pace, because this is the weekend last year that Jurassic World opened, and that added $600 million plus to the overall box office. So this weekend, that number is going to go even higher off the pace. There's going to be a little bit of a reprieve the week after when Finding Dory opens, which is expected to be
the booster.
A monster hit, but it's not going to probably do $600 million, so it's still going to be down.
What about Me Before You? How's that playing out?
Me Before You is a nice little sleeper hit, okay, but there's not a huge number to really add to the total. It's going to be a hit for Warner Brothers. It's only a $20 million budgeted film, so it's going to be a success for the studio, which is a nice little reprieve, but it's not making, you know, Captain America dollars or some of these other movies that really only you can count on just a couple of hands the movies that are actually into profit this year for the studio. Me Before You is going to be one of them, but really we're talking less than 10 movies.
Here we go with a sequel, starting with Conjuring 2.
What does it say?
It said it wants to hurt you.
When did it say that?
Right now.
Well, this one is going to hopefully provide a little bit of hope this weekend, in that The Conjuring, the first movie from a few years ago, is considered one of the better horror movies of the last decade. James Wan has sort of carved out this really fantastic niche where he's really sort of become one of the new generation of horror directors, and he's a really fine director for any genre, really. And Conjuring 2 should take the #1 spot this weekend, but it'll be a question over how much. Some people are expecting it to be over $40 million, and since horror doesn't really have a really big shelf life at the theaters. Usually people show up the first weekend and then there's huge drops afterwards. Conjuring, the first one, had a bit of a word-of-mouth sensation to it, so it ended up making over $140 million. This one, they're hoping, you know, will do sort of in the low 100s at least, and I think it very well could.
And now another sequel, Now You See Me Too.
People see the horsemen as noble Robin Hoods, but I believe their first act was just a setup.
Probably right at the top of movies sequels that nobody asked for is the sequel to this really stupid magician heist movie that came out a few years ago, and this one I've been told is even more annoying and much worse than the original film, and I would be curious to see exactly what fans of the original are going to show up for a second helping of this film. It's just a bunch of narcissistic magicians doing CGI magic, so there's really no magic involved. They might as well just be Marvel characters and wizards and stuff instead of being actual true magicians, and I don't think anyone's really interested in it. So I think you'll see it do some minor business this weekend, maybe somewhere in the low to mid 20s, and then die off very quickly.
And finally, also coming out this weekend, Warcraft.
For years, our world has been at peace. But something is coming. I can feel it. Dark forces are upon us.
And this is probably going to be a film that actually dominates the conversation next week. Even though if Conjuring 2 makes some good money, Warcraft is going to be the film that probably everyone is talking about, because it's going to be sort of the next bomb of the summer, most likely, after Alice Through the Looking Glass, which is, you know, expected in a few days. Disney will be writing that one off officially, though they can afford it. But Warcraft is a film that's been on everyone's radar as a film that doesn't look, not a lot of positives coming on it. The reviews are actually really quite horrible for it, and it's an expensive movie for Universal that is going to have some reprieve down the summer. I think Secret Lives of Pets and Jason Bourne are going to sort of make up for this in a way, but I think those might even be the only two hits that Universal has this year. So this is going to be one of those hits. Warcraft has sort of taken the Battleship approach from a few years ago, and they've released overseas, and it's already made like $70 million overseas, so it's going to cut the blow a little bit this weekend, but when the grosses come out in the U.S., you're going to see that this is not going to be a lot of happy faces over Universal.
And the box office blues. Thank you for
Yes.
coming on the show, Erik.
Thank you.